AI is replacing 522 jobs every single day, middle-class jobs. And here's what nobody is telling you about AI. It's not just replacing jobs, it's changing who gets wealthy and who gets left behind. See, every time technology changes civilization, wealth moves. Let's make sure it moves your way. Keep watching.
This is the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. Here's Robert Kiyosaki.
Welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good and bad about money. This is Robert Kiyosaki, and today is just you and me. And we're talking about what the rich are teaching their kids about money. Right now, while you are listening to this, AI is doing someone's job, maybe yours. Most people think AI is a future problem. It's not. It's already here. It's already writing, already designing, coding, replacing customer service reps, researchers, marketers, already replacing entry-level workers. And now it's moving into white-collar jobs, doctors, lawyers, accountants, people who spent decades building careers, people who did everything right. It's not just replacing jobs, it's changing who gets wealthy and who gets left behind. See, every time technology changes civilization, wealth moves fast. The Industrial Revolution created fortunes. The oil boom created fortunes. The internet created fortunes. But it also destroyed the people who didn't adapt. And this shift, this AI shift, may be the biggest one yet. Think about it. One company discovers they can use AI to do the work of 10 employees. What does the company do next? They don't say, "What about the workers?" No, they say, "Look how much money we can save." That's capitalism. That's always been capitalism. Technology doesn't care about feelings. Markets don't care about fairness. And companies do not keep workers out of loyalty. They keep workers when workers create value. Right now, one person with AI can do the work of entire teams. One entrepreneur can run a business that used to need 20 employees. One creator can produce content like a media company. One investor can analyze deals faster than entire teams used to. That's leverage, and leverage is how wealth is built. The scary part isn't AI. The scary part is that most people still think the system is protecting them. It's not. And the reason most people can't protect themselves goes all the way back to school. Think about what school actually taught you. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, work hard, climb the ladder. That was the formula. Poor Dad believed that formula completely. He taught it, he lived it, he trusted it. But Rich Dad used to say something very different. He said, the moment technology changes, the rules change. Here's the problem. Schools were not designed to create entrepreneurs. They were designed to create employees. In school, what are kids rewarded for? Obedience, memorization, following instructions, staying inside the lines, repeating the correct answer. That worked during the industrial age. Factories needed obedient workers. Big corporations needed managers. The system needed people who would trade time for money for 40 years. But here's what AI just did. AI doesn't get tired, doesn't ask for raises, doesn't need health care, doesn't call in sick, doesn't complain. And once AI learns a skill, it scales globally, almost overnight. The very thing people spent decades learning can suddenly be automated. And people get angry when I say this. But ask yourself, what did school teach you about assets, about liabilities, about cash flow, about building a business, about investing, about leverage? Nothing. School taught you to be a worker, not an owner. And that difference, that one difference, is about to matter more than it ever has before. Rich Dad used to say, the problem with school is that once you graduate, learning stops. That's deadly in a rapidly changing economy because today the people winning are not the smartest people in the room. They're the fastest learners. They adapt, they pivot, they use leverage. Meanwhile, most employees are trapped. Mortgage payments, car payments, credit cards, student loans, retirement fears. They need the paycheck. And that dependence, that's the trap we need to talk about after the break. Stay with me. We've been talking about AI, about how it's already replacing workers, about how schools built you for a world that's disappearing. But when we come back, I'm going to show you the real reason most people can't protect themselves from this shift. It's not their intelligence. It's not their work ethic. It's a trap, a financial trap most people don't even know they're in. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for listening to the Rich Dad Radio Show. As you know, I've had my friend Jim Rickards on my show a bunch of times. Now, Jim has a new message to share. According to Jim, a former advisor to the CIA and the Pentagon, with close ties to the Trump administration, President Trump is about to make a move that will shock the markets and open the doors to the world's single biggest gold deposit right here on U.S. soil. Inside this deposit is the equivalent of more than 161 million ounces of gold, which at today's prices would be worth nearly $1 trillion. And as gold continues to hit new highs this year, this deposit could make some people very, very rich. That's why Jim, a world-renowned gold expert with over 40 years as industry insider, just made a huge prediction about this Trump move and what he calls Donald Trump's secret $2 gold mine. And for all the details on this little-known $2 gold company, simply go to offair26.com to watch his presentation. That's offair26.com. I'll also put the link in the show description. This message has been paid for by Paradigm Press. Welcome back. We've been talking about AI, about technology changing the rules, and about how school never prepared you for any of this. Now I want to talk about the trap. Let's say you're making $120,000 a year. Nice house, 2 cars, kids in school, retirement account, maybe some credit card debt, maybe student loans, a mortgage payment that feels manageable, as long as the paycheck keeps coming. Then one day your company announces restructuring. That's the polite word, restructuring. Efficiency improvements, AI integration, automation. What they really mean is we found a way to need fewer humans. And here's what makes this moment so dangerous. It's not the job loss. It's what comes after. Mortgage still due, car payments still due, kids still need tuition, credit cards still charging interest. Rich Dad used to tell me, the moment your survival depends on a paycheck, you lose power. That's the trap. Most people look wealthy on the outside. Nice house, late model car, good neighborhood. But underneath, many are one paycheck away from financial panic. And here's the part that makes it worse. The higher your expenses, the less freedom you have to adapt. That's why the middle class gets squeezed hardest during economic transitions. They earn too much to feel poor. They don't own enough assets to become truly wealthy. That's a dangerous place to be, especially now, because AI doesn't care how hard you worked to build that lifestyle. AI doesn't care about your mortgage, your car payment, your kids' tuition. Companies don't keep workers out of loyalty. They keep workers when workers create value. And when AI can create that value cheaper, most companies will make that switch. Not because they're evil, because that's what businesses do. That's the trap closing. So here's the real question. If wealth is being transferred right now, where is it going? This is where most people get it wrong. They think the answer is a better job, a higher salary, a promotion, more credentials, more degrees, more compliance. That's the left side of the cash flow quadrant. E, employees. S, self-employed. Left side people work hard for money. They trade time for dollars. They sell labor. And here's the problem with selling labor in an AI world. AI doesn't get tired. AI doesn't negotiate. AI scales. You don't. A solo entrepreneur can suddenly operate like a team. One person with AI tools can create marketing, write sales copy, analyze markets, automate operations, serve customers. That would have been impossible just a few years ago. Rich Dad taught me about the right side. B, business owners. I, investors. Right side people don't sell labor. They build systems. They own assets. Their money works for them. Think about that difference. A worker using AI might become slightly more productive, but an owner using AI can scale an entire business. That's a completely different game. A small company can suddenly compete with huge companies. A solo entrepreneur can suddenly operate like a team. One person with AI tools can create marketing, write sales copy, analyze markets, automate operations, serve customers. That would have been impossible just a few years ago. This is why I believe the biggest fortunes of the next decade will not go to the people with the best resumes. They'll go to the people who learn leverage the fastest. Because the economy is changing from who works hardest to who scales smartest. And this is where people get uncomfortable, because moving from the left side to the right side isn't just a financial decision, it's an identity decision. Most people were trained to be employees. Their whole identity is built around the job, the title, the company, the paycheck. Rich Dad used to say, most people spend their life going from job to job in search of security. True security is never found on the left side. It's found in ownership, in cash flow, in assets that pay you, whether you work or not. That's the difference. And that difference is about to matter more than ever before. We've been talking about the cash flow quadrant, about the difference between people who sell labor and people who own systems. But when we come back, I'm going to show you something that history proves over and over again. Every major disruption, every crisis, every technological shift creates the biggest wealth transfer most people will ever witness. And most people end up on the wrong side. Let's make sure you end up on the right side. Don't go anywhere. Lehman Brothers, Washington Mutual, Bear Stearns. 3 companies that helped create one of the worst financial collapses in market history. And on May 27th, you could add surprising new name to that list. I'm talking about one of the biggest AI companies in the entire world. And no, it's not NVIDIA. But according to my friend and colleague Jim Rickards, the man who warned about the last 2 market crashes 3 full weeks in advance, this major AI company could trigger a catastrophe 10 times worse than Lehman Brothers, resulting in a devastating 80% market crash. Jim just revealed the name of this company plus 5 simple steps you should take right now that could help you win big no matter what happens. For all the details on this urgent situation, go to meltdown26.com. That's meltdown26.com, paid for by Paradigm Press. Welcome back. We've been talking about AI, about the cash flow quadrant, about why ownership beats employment every time technology shifts. Now I want to talk about what history actually shows us. Crises don't destroy wealth, they transfer it. The Industrial Revolution created fortunes. The oil boom created fortunes. The internet created fortunes. Real estate crashes created fortunes for investors who had cash and knowledge every single time. When the internet appeared, most people dismissed it. Then Amazon happened. Google happened. E-commerce exploded. Fortunes were built because a small number of people moved early. while the crowd stayed skeptical. People laughed at the internet. People dismissed Bitcoin. People ignored social media. People doubted e-commerce. Then suddenly the world changed, and the people who moved early built enormous wealth. That's what's happening with AI right now. A small group is using it to create massive leverage, while millions of people are afraid of it. Rich Dad used to say, the poor panic, the rich prepare. Average people see uncertainty and freeze. They stop learning, they cling to safety, they hope things return to normal. But wealthy people ask a different question. They ask, where is the opportunity? And the opportunity right now is leverage, because AI has lowered the barrier to building systems like never before. Today, one person can build a business from a laptop, create content, automate marketing, build products, analyze deals. That level of leverage used to belong only to giant corporations. Now individuals can access it. That's revolutionary, and most people will miss it. Not because they're not smart enough, but because fear blinds them, because school trained them to look for safety, not opportunity. The world does not go backwards. Technology moves forward. Economies evolve. Industries disappear. New industries emerge. And the people who survive are the people who adapt before adaptation becomes mandatory. That's the pattern. So let me leave you with this. The middle class is not disappearing because people are lazy. It's disappearing because the world changed and most people haven't realized it yet. The biggest risk today is not AI. The biggest risk is pretending the world hasn't changed. That's what millions of people are doing right now, waiting for the economy to normalize, waiting for interest rates to change, waiting for jobs to feel secure again, waiting for someone in government to fix things. But no one is coming to save you. That's not pessimism, that's freedom. Because once you stop waiting for the system to protect you, you start building your own future. And that's where real wealth begins. The question was never whether AI is coming. It's already here. The question is which side of this transfer you'll be on. The left side sells labor. The right side owns systems. The left side hopes the paycheck keeps coming. The right side builds cash flow that comes whether they work or not. That's the difference. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The world is moving toward automation, toward leverage, toward ownership. The people who understand that shift early may thrive. The people who ignore it may spend years wondering what happened. Financial education is no longer optional. It never was, but now, the cost of ignorance is higher than it's ever been. Thank you for your time. Thank you for caring about your future. Thank you for understanding that you are the only one who cares about taking care of you. Take care.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.